Maggie Tiemann, Timothy Daly, Carla Fountain, the officials, two teams that didn't make the NCAA tournament last year, back in the big dance, and so excited for it. First possession will go to Texas A&M.
2 for 2 for a jump ball violation.
Well, that's been the theme so far in Corvallis. We'll get a clean jump ball at some point, but more importantly right now, Texas A&M will get us rolling here. Sahara Jones, maybe one of those players that will have to step up with nowhere. Janiah Barker, of course, will have to as well. Came up short on her opening shot. Alexis Markowski, 19 double-doubles this season, 9th in D1 basketball. Jazz Shelley played with an enormous level of swagger and confidence in that Big Ten tournament. They go to Markowski. That is what she does.
And that's way too easy. Got to be in a quarter denial at least. Can't let her front you and get that easy of a look right there in the paint.
Asia, you and I have talked about it. This Nebraska team, they're playing their best basketball right now when it matters most. Over the last month, there's a beautiful steal from Logan Nisley, freshman who's been playing very well all the way to the rim.
Yeah, Logan Nisley inserted into the lineup when Darian White got hurt. She's been starting since February 2nd and has been meteorite, peaking at the right time in her play.
That's been the theme of this team, peaking at the right time. Cornhusker fan base has traveled here to Corvallis. Koulibaly, she can do that. Markowski secures the rebound, won't be her last.
But that's what the Cornhuskers want to do. They're going to force the Aggies to take tough outside shots.
In Texas A&M, you see their head coach, Joni Taylor, in her second season at Texas A&M. It was a 10-win jump from last year. They went from 9 wins to 19 wins. Essentially played what was a play-in game while they were on the bubble entering the SEC tournament against Mississippi State in the opening round. Came out on top. Mississippi State didn't make it. Texas A&M did. That's going to be a foul from behind, and Markowski will go to the free throw line. There's Amy Williams, the head coach for Nebraska. Recent contract extension announced, and she deserves it. And celebrating a birthday today, by the way, while trying to get an NCAA tournament win.
Birthday, she's got the birthday shirt on, the bedazzles. Looking great. She's really excited about that, too.
She told us that her and her husband went for a walk this morning, a little birthday coffee walk, as you see a birthday tweet. And by the time they got downstairs in the hotel, they saw their players already drawing up notes and questions for defensive coverage assignments and whatnot. So she knows her players are amped up, celebrating her birthday, and they're trying to celebrate what would be her first NCAA tournament win as the Nebraska head coach. Off to a 6-0 start. Barker couldn't get a much-needed bucket. That one thrown away, looking down low for the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Natalie Potts.
The Aggies need to continue and just try and be as aggressive as possible in their attack downhill into the paint. They're settling, missing a lot of outside shots.
What are the keys on this end with nowhere?
Nowhere in the paint, but you still got to find a way. It doesn't have to necessarily just be a post entry in order to get into the paint. They got to be aggressive on their attack downhill. You're right. Normally they do rely on Ware getting the ball inside and out, but you can just attack off the dribble. The Aggies are athletic. They have that advantage.
Lauren Ware is also a player who has NCAA tournament experience. Into the corner, India Rogers. Loose ball battle. Aggies get it back. Sahara Jones now tied up by Potts. And this will go back the opposite direction to Nebraska. It's an 0 for 4 start from the field for Texas A&M. Nebraska's hit 2 of their first 3. Made a run all the way to the Big Ten title. Came up short at a lead with 2 minutes to go in overtime against Iowa. Iowa, of course, one of the #1 seeds in this NCAA tournament. Potts, second chance, step through, a foul, and looks like it's going to go back to the Aggies.
Yes, I believe they called Markowski with the over the back, the push on the glass there. Have another look at it here. The shot goes up and you see them battling. Yeah, I guess they're just going to call a push there with Markowski. I didn't really see it, but
Asia, that is 2 early fouls on Alexis Markowski. She goes to the bench. Nisley gets her second steal, pulls up, transition. Rebound to Jones. So keep an eye now on how Nebraska operates as Jessica Petrie checks in, freshman from Gold Coast, Australia. One of what's been a stretch of good players from down under for this Nebraska program in recent years. Jazz Shelley, their point guard, also from Australia. Another throwaway though here. Joni Taylor told us there's certain things we can't do as Texas A&M, and turning it over to slimmer margin for error with no Lauren Ware on the floor.
absolutely, and they're going to have to continue to defend, rebound, try to get out in transition as much as they can, attack it, try and get to the free throw line. I think that's where the Aggies are going to see the most success, specifically on the offensive end.
Texas A&M has gone through a number of different injuries, and as we've talked about throughout the week, they've happened at different times of their season. That storyline, unfortunately, playing up once again today.
Absolutely, and that's why Coach Joni said it. She said, listen, she said, we're not fazed by it because this is unfortunately what we've been used to. And you even look at them last season, they played with 7 players for the majority of the season, and even without Janiah Barker.
Aggies back in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2021. They made a Sweet 16 that year. Sahara Jones, who's on the floor, 24 in black, has the most experience from that team. KK Jones on the floor. She was also on that team. There's KK Green. Corner 3. It goes down.
And you talk about Green with that, having that experience. She's one of those players last season that was able to stay healthy. So she played a lot of minutes, even started. So, you know, coming into this lineup, she started this season as well. So a very experienced veteran player.
Down low, a quick answer. And Jazz Shelley able to leak to the rim off a nice feed.
Nebraska, all the players have such high IQ. They move the ball well, so you have to be disciplined defensively or they'll punish you for it.
Here's KK Green, one of the longest tenured Aggies, was looking for another long-range shot. And we get a foul called down low.
The discipline, high-tempo offense that Nebraska comes with. You cannot sleep here. Just an excellent pass from Potts to Shelley. The selection show, but like you said, both teams, when I talked to the coach, they said this was genuine emotion that they felt, and, you know, well-deserved when you talk about what they've gone through this season to be able to put themselves in this position.
KK Green, quick drive, nearly got her own offensive board, and a tie-up down low, and the arrow would keep it at this end. Mentioned those celebrations, and it was Kendall Moriarty's gritty that really jumped out in the Nebraska celebration at the front. Amy Williams loved it. Her team loved it. The journey they've taken to get back here. India Rogers able to drain a 3. It was absolutely imperative that they got her back for the SEC tournament, now getting more and more comfortable coming off an injury that kept her out for a chunk of February.
Absolutely. You talk about her IQ, the way she's able to push pace, pass the ball, and score it like you saw there is huge for the Aggies, especially on the offensive end. And I will say this, with Markowski not in the game, it takes less pressure off the interior on both ends of the floor, so the A&M, they need to take advantage. Markowski
Scored a quick early 4 points, then picked up her second foul. The Nebraska forward, who has 19 double-doubles this year, averaging a career high in points, rebounds, has been spectacular in big games too. Calling for it, unable to get the roll with Petrie, who's filling in right now for Markowski. Darian White has also checked in for Nebraska. The NCAA Championship Final Four weekend starts April 5th with the Final Four and continues Sunday, April 7th when we crown a champ. Every game is on the ESPN family of networks For more info, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. These teams are part of the Regional 1 in Albany. Oregon State, the host of this first and second round. They beat Eastern Washington. So the winner of this matchup will play Oregon State on Sunday. Only location in the entire bracket with 4 teams that did not make the tournament last season. It's kind of the resiliency location. Down low, Potts.
A resilient location. I'll tell you what, all teams that are just super hungry, super anxious and excited to be able to continue on in this dance.
Barker with space, gave her too much space.
That's a great look when you see Barker hitting and connecting from outside. She's another one of those versatile players that can play inside and out.
An A&M team that doesn't rely a ton on the three, but that's an added bonus for them when they're going down. Potts is in trouble in the paint. This is going to stay on this end.
A team that doesn't rely on the three, but are more than capable of hitting one when it's needed. And I think that's the huge difference we see there with Barker. You don't want to settle for the shots that you're given, but if it's a good shot and you take it, you shoot it with confidence, it's a great shot, and that's exactly what the Aggies need, those looks inside and out.
Texas A&M in wins this year, averaging about 75 points per game. In losses, 58 points per game. The glass has also played a key factor in wins and losses for Texas A&M this year. You mentioned with Markowski on the bench with 2 fouls. Got to take advantage. Talon Hake's shot off the mark. Barker right on that note, secures the rebound. Rogers against a good defender in White. Trying to get it back to her. Another good denial. Green goes down low. Barker, a strong move.
I was getting ready to say, I was waiting for Rogers to get in the paint and bully somebody because she's got the strength and size advantage.
Oh, what a pull-up at the opposite end from White. Quick answer for the grad student who has some NCAA tournament experience with Montana State. Transferred into Nebraska this year. Tap away from Petrie. It'll stay at this end. More of what you want to see in this replay from Texas A&M.
We just saw Barker hit an outside shot. You talk about the dynamic of her game, being able to score outside and inside. You see there the bully basketball. When you have the mismatch, when you know that you can get it done inside and using your power, that's exactly what you have to do.
This A&M team fell to South Carolina in the SEC tournament after that win over Mississippi State. Of course, unbeaten South Carolina as you get a travel call there. 5 early turnovers for Joni Taylor's team. The adjustments that they're making, you mentioned kind of a position switch for Aisha Coulibaly, but back where she felt comfortable during her days at Auburn before transferring there.
Absolutely. This is where she's comfortable at the 4 position. She can play out on the 3. Just plays wherever she's needed. She's the X factor. She's going to be key in terms of just being able to play inside and out.
A throwaway there for Nebraska. It's 2 very contrasting styles. What I loved what you said about this matchup, there's not a team that Nebraska would typically see in the Big Ten quite like Texas A&M. And there's not a team in the SEC that Texas A&M would see that you can kind of mirror Nebraska.
Absolutely. So that's why they're trying to play their best basketball for their team and execute in that regard.
Texas A&M going to get a second crack at this. Barker, she'll have to be a go-to today. 3rd chance now. Sahara Jones. Mentioned she was on that last NCAA tournament team for Texas A&M, along with KK Green. Foul called. They get Nebraska. Annika Stewart. Nebraska has 6 players who were on their last NCAA tournament team. Nebraska's last NCAA tournament win came in 2014. So it's been a decade for the Cornhuskers, and they want to get that out of their heads and move on. But early on here, a tight one with Texas A&M. That's what we expected. As MJ Johnson is at the free throw line.
The Aggies' biggest focus, it starts with their defense. Defense is their hallmark, rebounding, their hallmark. They can get those things done and then execute on the offensive end. They can come out with the win.
12-12, 90 seconds to go in the first quarter. Shelley still trying to get involved offensively.
And I want to say this too, Nebraska, so many weapons. They like to get up quick shots, so it's not necessarily always a bad shot when it comes quick. Those are the looks that they're used to and that they like to get.
They have some shot makers. Got a travel called on this end.
That's her second travel there, Coulibaly.
It'll go down as the 6th turnover already for Texas A&M. Has kind of evened out with their work on the glass so far to earn some second and third chance opportunities. Jazz Shelley averaging 21 points per game over her last 5, playing her best basketball in March. Plenty of time, whips it down low to Stewart, and she's able to get the shooter's roll, the senior from Minnesota. Played in her home state in the Big Ten tournament, which took place in Minneapolis. The navigation to the rim there from Tanea Hilton didn't turn into 2, and a foul called. It's going to go back the opposite way here. Stick with Nebraska. They get Coulibaly on the call. Coulibaly had 32 points, career high, in their SEC tournament loss to South Carolina. She's also playing some of her best basketball right now. They'll need her to stay out of foul trouble today, though, with the already limited depth in the front court due to the Lauren Ware injury. Not playing today, a player who's started 30 games for Texas A&M this season. 2-second difference, game clock and shot clock. 2-point lead for Nebraska. Ake still navigating, trying to get the best shot. One-legged runner from Shelley. Still time here for Texas A&M. Half-court heave. Off the mark from Sahara Jones. 2 points separating Nebraska and Texas A&M after 1 quarter of play on Twitter earlier this week. But interesting ties, and then you just happen to get the women and men both playing in the first round.
Aggies clearly looking to take after, do what their men were able to do. Buzz Williams just trying to take this A&M men's program and build it.
Get an offensive foul there called on Texas A&M. Gotta like to start for Texas A&M without Lauren Ware.
I mean, this is what they're used to. We talked about it time and time of just playing through different players with injuries, so different looks, different things missing game in and game out. So everybody just has to step up and do a little bit more.
Maddie Kroll in for Nebraska, the Omaha, Nebraska native. Nice steal there from Tanea Hilton. Read that well. Right at Shelley. Is there a call? Still waiting on what the call is. And it looks like it's going to be offensive.
Have another look at it here. Yes, the refs are seeing that she was set up. You can move backwards, you just can't move forward.
So this was one of our big question marks, when Alexis Markowski is going to check back in with the 2 fouls. She'll certainly, of course, have to play smart defensively and offensively with those 2 fouls. They go to Markowski a lot down low, and certainly should. Has been so productive for them all season.
And again, even now that she's back in the game, Aggies, they can still take advantage. That is the player you want to attack on the offensive end.
Nebraska tried to get out in a hurry there after they broke the press, and it led to a foul on Texas A&M.
Yeah, Bowles trying to stay with her and grabs her on the arm.
Bowles, a sophomore who was originally signed to go to Georgia, then followed Joni Taylor from Georgia to Texas A&M. Joni Taylor in her second season at A&M had multiple NCAA tournament appearances during her time at Georgia, made the rare SEC to SEC school change. She has a lot of respect for this Nebraska team. Corner three, look, goes down for Logan Nisley. Continues her hot start.
And it started there with Shelley, had the mismatch with MJ on her, was able to put pressure on that defense attacking the rim to find Nisley there in the corner.
Nisley, one of the best freshmen in the Big Ten this year. Had 13 points in that Big Ten title loss to Iowa. How about a quick answer at the opposite end from MJ Johnson?
Yeah, MJ was given a whole lot of space, dared her to shoot that shot, and she was able to connect.
Shelley, she can heat up in a hurry. A little strong. There's Markowski's presence. Nebraska fans on the edge of their seat with this call. I don't believe.
You see, taking advantage of the mismatch here is Shelley, and that baseline drift pass, that is a hard pass to make, and she was able to execute and find Nisley on the corner. You talk about the prowess, the IQ of Shelley, and just her ability to play make. And then Nisley, she's just been outstanding freshman connecting from three.
Yep, and by the way, that whistle was not a foul on Markowski, so she still got two. There's a foul on this end, and it's on Texas A&M.
All the Cornhuskers can breathe now.
You can breathe a sigh of relief. Moving screen there. Darian White and Natalie Potts in for Nebraska now, with their team up 3. Nisley's had a good start to this one, ran into some trouble on the baseline though. White showcasing that electric speed of hers. This will go back to Texas A&M. I mentioned these teams met up on the men's side as well in the first round. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, and TNT with the start of the second round tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. For more information on tournament games and networks, go to ncaa.com. The Nebraska women and men both winning at least 22 games in the same season for the first time ever. It was the Texas A&M men, though, beating Nebraska in the men's bracket. And now the women's matchup taking place here in Corvallis, Oregon. First round. India Rogers tried to float that up high. And then a foul called on the rebound. What's been a physical start to this one in the paint.
Very physical indeed. Lots of body there in the paint, nothing called, and then yeah, on the rebound, got her there on the rebound, just loss of body control. It's Barker there with the foul.
So that's going to put Nebraska in the bonus. There's still 7:16 to go in this second quarter. Natalie Potts, an 82% free throw shooter. Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Her footwork in the paint is just so fun to watch. Alexis Markowski said, when we need something, Potts provides it.
And she's so versatile. She's got the length, the IQ, athletic. She's one of the better defenders with length for Nebraska.
A unanimous choice for Big Ten All-Freshman. As the task of guarding Barker, not easy, and that's why. And one coming up for Janiah Barker.
I love it. The Aggies take advantage, continue to be aggressive on your attack downhill. That's just the name of the game here, and who better to do it than Janiah Barker, and one big body. She loves it. Momentum play here for the Aggies.
She's got that infectious personality, infectious energy as well. You need that when you have a player down, just that extra boost in different ways. Barker elevated into an even higher role without her front court partner Lauren Ware in the lineup today. Two-point game. Inadvertent horn, they'll play through it. Kendall Coley in the game now for Nebraska. Setting the screen there for Nisley, who operates, couldn't finish. Rebound secured by Bulls. Straight away, very confident three-point try from Rogers. Blows the board, couldn't finish, so want that one back. How about a third chance? They get a travel call before the shot.
Great effort, though, by Bulls, just staying with it.
Asia, they're so athletic on the glass. You just see that when you watch them practice, and now seeing it in person. Very athletic.
And that's the culture that Coach Joni instilled in this program. And she's at Georgia. That's what they did. They defended, and they got on the glass, so nothing less. She brought that right over to College Station, Texas.
Nice step through from White, and how about that roll with the left hand?
White has dealt with some injury, so just seeing her sort of shake the rust off and kind of get back into her groove. She's another key player who started initially prior to her injury, so just another talent, great defensive player as well.
Bulls couldn't bury the three. Barker, another board, another foul on Nebraska.
White is just very crafty, very nifty with the ball. I love it, the fake. Fake me out and roll it in.
So right now, Barker has been feasting on the glass. Markowski's on the bench with the two fouls. Did come back in, then went back to the bench. Just under 6 to go in the opening half. Markowski had an early 4, then the fouls kind of turned her into a non-factor for the time being. Koulibaly played it back out. Rogers, open three, couldn't cash in. Good look. Joni Taylor talked about White's speed, kicks it out. That is why they were afraid of White's speed, because she can find players in transition. That time it's Nisley cashing in.
Right on the money. The tempo changes when White is in the game, and her ability to push the basketball, put pressure on that transition defense and find open players.
Williams trying to answer. Easier board than it has been the last several possessions for Nebraska.
The guards got to take a page out of Barker's book and be aggressive on their attack and try to at least get to the free throw line.
Speaking of aggressive and getting to the free throw line, Darren White will do just that.
Nebraska just getting the shots they want. Change of pace with Darian White in the game. And the
team back in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2021. They advanced to the Sweet 16 that year. It'll be Darian White at the line here for Nebraska. They're taking a peek right now over the monitors. Our officiating crew of Maggie Tiemann, Timothy Daly, and Carla Fountain. They're checking who a foul was on at the 7:17 mark, if we heard correctly there. Now they're going to come over and tell us to confirm that. They are checking when a foul and who a foul took place on. Looking back at the 7:17 mark. There was at one point some discrepancy on in-arena scoreboard versus stats of a foul earlier in the quarter. So that's what they're trying to tidy up right now. Great atmosphere here inside of Gill Coliseum. Jason Ross Jr. and Asia Ellison with you. Second to 2 games tonight in first round action here in Corvallis. can hear this crowd waiting for some more hoops to start up. Asia first game was like a party. We had a record for attendance. Continuing on into this second game, we've had mascots dancing. The live mascot, though, of Texas A&M, as you know very well, didn't make the trip. Little Red, who's very big, did make the trip for Nebraska. By the way, you have had mascot experience.
Absolutely. When I was in high school, I was a Gator. That was my way of getting out of PE. Well worth the experience. I had so much fun. I specifically did soccer, so I was very hot. But, you know, I did a lot of theater, so I've always been a very animated and theatrical. I did cartwheels and everything.
And I feel like there are different mascot experiences. Like Little Red, for example, has this big inflated costume. Very tricky to dance in and whatnot. But then you have your natural, normal costumes in, say, a 90-degree soccer game, which I feel is harder. No disrespect here to Little Red. But he kind of gets to bounce around, indoor, literally bounce around.
It's literally all, yeah, it's all in the bounce.
It's all in the bounce.
It's all in the bounce.
By the way, that foul they're checking on, they originally called it on India Rogers. So again, still trying to confirm who it is exactly on. And now we're going to get some word here.
The discrepancy is how many fouls number 2 flag games. So that's what we're checking right now.
So we were told the discrepancy is how many fouls Janiah Barker has for Texas A&M is what they're specifically checking on. So we're being told that it says on the in-arena scoreboard that she has 3.
Was incorrectly recorded. Number 2 from Texas A&M has 3 fouls. Number 1 has 0 fouls.
So India Rogers has no fouls. It was originally labeled as being on her. She has no fouls. Janiah Barker does have 3 personal fouls, which is huge for Texas A&M right now, having 3 at this stage of the game with no Lauren Ware today, who is one of their star forwards, who averaged about 8 rebounds per game, 9 points per game, out today with the lower body injury. And Barker got off to a hot start in this game, has 8 of their first 17 points for Texas A&M. They just announced it over the PA here officially that foul is on Janiah Barker.
And that's huge. Rogers on the bench, and then you got Markowski back in the game.
And naturally, Barker will have to sit. You'd have to think remainder of this half.
Absolutely. The 3 fouls, absolutely.
So it'll be decision moments and times definitely for Joni Taylor the rest of the way when it comes to Janiah Barker, who has 8 of her first 17 points. Soleil Williams, a bit strong on a 3 there. Nisley's been spectacular in the early stages for a Nebraska team that's holding their largest lead of the game at 8. Darian White defended tightly by Williams. Spins in the paint. What a spin move it was. Couldn't quite put the style points on at the very end.
Didn't connect, but I mean, man, how shifty is White?
White, a really good defender as well, matched up with KK Green. Sahara Jones curls around Markowski, extra pass, Williams. Will this one go down for? It will.
Needed momentum. That's how you step up when your number's called and connect beyond the arc, which is really what the Aggies are going to need. Someone to be able to step up and hit outside shots.
Williams, his first NCAA tournament game. Markowski, not her first NCAA tournament experience. We're so happy to be back on this stage. She's got her first point since that early foul trouble that she got into, picking up the early 2 quick ones. Looks like this. I believe they got a kickball on Hake. We have Kelsey Riggs, Nikki Vargas, and Tine Gumike in the studio. coming up next. Dove inside the studio crew. And a fun start here in Corvallis. Oregon State won the first matchup of the evening over Eastern Washington. Beavers are back in the second round, back in the big dance this year. And these two teams trying to punch a ticket to see that Oregon State team on Sunday. Oh, the pass down low, read well by Coulibaly.
That's great hustle from Coulibaly getting back to defensive end, and you credit her because she's kind of having a slow night. Coming out of nowhere, because we know what Shelley can do. The pass was right there, but Coulibaly beats it.
Fake, catch and shoot. Rebound secured by Coulibaly. Feels like a big final at 2:40 here in this opening half for the Aggies. Have had so much resilience this year to different challenges. Another challenge today, and now in-game, Janiah Barker with 3 fouls, having to sit likely the rest of the way in this half.
I mean, Barker's been everything for them offensively. For the Aggies, you can see it, the struggle a bit with Barker out the game.
Ten-win jump for Texas A&M this year. Nebraska had a hot run in the Big Ten tournament. They came up short in the title game. Right place, right time. Another opportunity here for the Huskers. Jazz Shelley. A foul called down low. Going to be on Nebraska. Looks like they got Annika Stewart on the box out. Her second foul.
Oh yeah, that was the easy one. She pulled Sahara Jones right down. I think the fans were happy about it. They saw them battling a bit early on, so we're just waiting for the call. But a missed shot by Shelley, but Jason, her release is so quick.
So quick.
She gets that thing, she's pulling it.
Just a matter of time until she heats up. Shelley is 1 of 7 from the field, but averaging 21 a game over her last 5, entering the NCAA tournament. Played some good defense there. That came up short. Shot clock didn't reset. Coulibaly doing work on the glass, couldn't finish.
Barker's not in the game. Coulibaly's really got to step up.
Coulibaly had 32 in their SEC tournament loss to South Carolina. Sahara Jones went down, opened up space for Nebraska. Coley. A&M comes away unscathed there. Jones tried to push the tempo, maybe a little over-anxious in what they were trying to do. Another turnover.
Over-anxious, I think, is the best way to describe it. I think the Aggies got to calm down.
The 11 turnovers to Nebraska's just 3. Definitely playing a difference on the scoreboard right now. Approaching the final minute of the opening half. Shelley affects the game in so many ways, even when she isn't scoring. Tried to go with a no-look pass, but it was knocked out of the air that time by Tanea Hilton. Window here for A&M to pull within a couple of possessions heading into the locker room. Poked away, but a foul call.
Coulibaly went to the ground super hard, but got great position. Have another look at it. Coulibaly's posting up. Ooh. I don't know, Jason. What do you think about that one? I think she might have got the chair pulled out from under her and lost balance. But I don't know. Then again, she fell really hard forward towards the floor, so maybe I'm not seeing it from the correct angle.
Definitely kind of depends on the angle from which you see it. And as you said, heard the fall to the floor there. Arm contact is what the officials call. Williams hit 1-3 earlier. That one would have been big had it gone down. Meanwhile, shot clock and game clock practically the same here. for Nebraska to wind down this half. Hake notices it, bench notices it. Hake being pressured though. That was touched by Green, so she can enter the front court once again. 8 seconds left in the half. Hake poised, driving, couldn't finish, still time, 2 seconds. Long distance heave off the iron. 7-point game at the break. Well, two teams that have contrasting styles, and it's kind of what it looked like in the opening half. It was a feel-out process, and 7-point. Nebraska does have the 7-point lead. Markowski and Barker are both on the floor for their respective teams and appear to be matched up with each other down low. Nisley was a bright spot in the first half for this Nebraska team that made the NIT last year. Was so motivated at the beginning of the summer all the way up until this point to make this NCAA tournament. Felt there was definitely unfinished business. Get a foul on Natalie Potts, who's played a key role in them returning to this stage as Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Now KK Green, one of the longest tenured Aggies. Her role elevated as well when India Rogers went down in February, had a surgery, India Rogers, that she miraculously returned from in 2 weeks to clean up a lower body injury. KK Green's role elevated during that time. India Rogers is back as well, but on the bench to begin this second half for Texas A&M. Well, the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship first round coverage continues tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ABC. Paige Beckers and UConn host Jackson State. Then Caitlin Clark leads Iowa against Holy Cross. And ESPN has Kent State taking on Notre Dame at 2:15 Eastern Time, 11:15 Pacific. And it's Juju Watkins and USC hosting Texas A&M Corpus Christi. All games are also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Asia, I'm so excited for, we're in a Pac-12 location in the country to see Juju Watkins. Bit of an earlier time, Eastern time, than people are used to having to stay up and possibly watch her during the regular season. She has put on a show this year. So is the Pac-12 conference as a whole. We've got Big Ten versus SEC right now. That three comes up short by Nisley.
And you take it back to that graphic, the players to watch tomorrow with Beckers, Clark, Hidalgo, Juju Watkins. I really want to see how well those two freshmen play with Juju and Hidalgo in their first tournament.
Barker shovels it out. Sahara Jones rounding off on that three. 5-point game. It's felt so tight. That three will extend the Nebraska lead, though. Logan Nisley's been the trusty player to go to offensively for Nebraska today. Just a freshman, but not playing like it.
The name of the game makes a huge difference. Nebraska living by the three, and they are doing it because of Nisley.
You typically associate with being in double figures. Their points lower today. Shelley, 1 of 7 from the field right now. And Markowski dealt with the foul trouble earlier. So Nisley stepping up as a freshman in her first NCAA tournament game. Has not looked like any sort of nerves are popping up for her on this stage. Got an illegal screen here. Take a look at it on Texas A&M. Yep.
Yeah, KK Green got the arms out. You got to stay set, can't extend. It's an automatic call.
Nisley guarded by Green. Green, a tenacious on-ball defender, trying to cool down Nisley, who's in double figures. Shelley went with the no-look pass. Tapped out of bounds, though. Sahara Jones got the deflection. Aggies, one of 8 SEC teams to make the NCAA tournament. India Rogers will check in. Corner three, look who it is again. Logan Nisley continues her NCAA tournament debut party. It's been a good one for the Husker fans.
I mean, she's on fire. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If she's got to carry it, she's got to carry it. It's been absolutely impressive.
Has her team up 11, and she has 14 points. Averages 6 on the season. Aisha Coulibaly, they would love to see her get going. Does not there. Markowski secures it. Up to Jazz Shelley. Even when Shelley isn't scoring, affects the game in so many ways. Potts was fouled there. Going to stick with Nebraska.
Great execution. Aggies, come on, look, everybody's head is turned to the inbounder. No one is even looking at Nisley, who has just been absolutely on fire. So the Cornhuskers, listen, you got to make the defense pay for their laps.
And now up top, Moriarty! Another Husker three. A team with one of the best core of bench reactions in the country is up, and they are enthusiastic. By the way, as you're going back to that last replay of the Nisley three before, I love that the entire bench was pointing to Nisley. Like they saw it before everyone else saw it, right? Another inbounds three.
I mean, same thing, different player. Everyone facing the inbounder. Got to have your head on a swivel there, and they're just able to find another player, able to connect from three. So many weapons for the Cornhuskers.
Moriarty caught a nice stride in the WNIT last season, but that wasn't their goal. This is their goal, to be on this stage and win NCAA tournament games. Nebraska hasn't won an NCAA tournament game since 2014. Their head coach, Amy Williams, searching for her first NCAA tournament victory at the school where she played in the 90s. Moriarty the rebound here after her three on the last possession. Largest lead for Nebraska. Nisley, that same spot where she hit the three before. Shelley dribbled it off her foot. It's Markowski going out to corral it. Amy Williams calling out signals from the sideline. 6 on the shot clock. Markowski calling for it. Coulibaly read it all the way though. Here comes Coulibaly. Got her on board and put it up for the second chance opportunity.
And I love the body control initially on that attack. Missed the shot but stayed with it, able to put it back in.
Just the first points for Coulibaly today.
Yeah, they've done a great job slowing her down. I mean, she did have some turnovers early on, but just a very slow game for Coulibaly, which has made a big difference as well.
A player who averages 13 points per game for Texas A&M. It's Nisley. She's red hot right now. Bit strong. Markowski tenacious on the offensive glass. Goes right to the rim and puts it off the glass and down. Markowski, a walking double-double all season. That's starting to creep in. Nice spin move in the lane, and here's Coulibaly starting to discover her rhythm.
Yeah, she's going to have to bring some life back for the Aggies. Janiah Barker, she's sitting there at the scorer's table, so that'll be a good look for A&M as well when she gets back in the game. Markowski, just a blue-collar player. Look at the hustle here. Able to get the deflection or get the steal there, connect on the basket.
Mentioned the career highs for her in points and rebounds this year. Put in a lot of work in the offseason. A Lincoln, Nebraska native, grew up rooting for the Huskers. Her dad, Andy, who's 6'8", played for Nebraska, was on their 1998 NCAA tournament team. Grew up living and breathing Nebraska sports. There she is as a young Husker fan. She had 23 points, 13 boards in that tournament title loss to Iowa. Her journey here, one that started as a hometown kid in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Such an incredible story when you grow up looking up to a team and just dreaming of playing, and she's here in the moment. I mean, it's so full circle.
Living the dream. Into the lane goes KK Green.
Now the Aggies got to get a stop. You got to continue to stop, score. You can't trade baskets. You definitely can't trade for a three.
That's what their head coach, Joni Taylor, told us. Can't get into a shooting contest with Nebraska tonight. NCAA first round action after dark here in Corvallis. Thanks for staying up late with us. If you're out east, both of these fan bases on Central Time. Little coffee boost for this one. It's been fun. Down low, foul called before that buzzer sounded. So should be free throws coming up when we return. Veronica Stewart. Nebraska up 12, 4:48 to go in the third quarter. Both these teams want to play Oregon State on Sunday.
When she was at Georgia, just so much fun.
You've been teaching me all sorts of things this week in our practices that we go through the day before the games. Ducks and dives and post moves. How to secure your position down low. We get some good forwards amongst this group. Oregon State, if you weren't with us earlier, knocked off Eastern Washington to secure their ticket to the second round. Opposite way, Aisha Coulibaly. She can get going in transition and can heat up in a hurry. Just a 12-point game. Texas A&M definitely within striking distance if they can get on a run. It's been Nebraska that has had more of the positive offensive runs in this game.
And it makes all the difference being able to play with Barker, and they have Rogers as well back in the game.
Barker had 3 fouls in the opening half. Callan Hake, a spin move, and she got fouled.
Yeah, Hake just aggressive on her attack. And yeah, I mean, that's easy. Rogers came down with a hand.
Hake, a Victoria, Minnesota native, played in her home state in the Big Ten tournament. Really good three-point shooter. Her brother plays second base at North Dakota State, and they actually played Nebraska earlier this week. But it was the day that Callan Hake and the Huskers had to travel here. So she was a little upset she didn't get to see her brother play in Lincoln, but entire family watching and supporting her and the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who are trying to get their first NCAA tournament win since 2014. Rogers off a screen and a clean look. Markowski secures another rebound, her 7th. Markowski searching. It's Coley trying to get on the scoreboard and does from long distance. Another Minnesota native on this Nebraska roster. She has been efficient in her minutes when they use her.
I mean, so balanced, so dynamic. The attack from the Cornhuskers, everybody putting up points on the board.
Coley, another player who was on their last NCAA tournament team. How about that? Snaking to the rim. Coulibaly just doing all she can to keep Texas A&M in this game.
Yeah, there it is. They are on a different level, and Coulibaly has life in her offensive attack.
Shelley dribbled it off her foot, corralled by Barker, up to Coulibaly. Coley's back, but Coulibaly, and one!
I mean, really, that play right there is the first time that I've really seen A&M do exactly what they do best, and that's getting a stop, converting in transition. Again, they get the stop here. Coulibaly, just great switching sides, being able to connect, drawing the foul. I mean, you said it, Jason, they just can't trade buckets. You got to continue to get your score, but then get a stop on defense as well. Stop the score. That's going to be the name of the game for the Aggies. Getting on the glass, being aggressive, trying to get to the free throw line.
Coulibaly scored their last 6, all of a sudden in double figures, trying to will her team back into this one. Aisha Coulibaly, originally from Mali. Her family watching. Mali's about 7 hours ahead. They're tuned in. And her sister, her little sister Mariam, she said she watches every game. She's in Canada right now, tuning in. So a lot of support from the Coulibaly family. Stripped down low. KK Green able to emerge out of the pack here. Crossover, and now they'll back it up. Offensive foul called. Going to go back the opposite way to Nebraska.
Yeah, it's great anticipation by White, just being set up there to be able to get that call. You have another look at it here. MJ was diving but not paying attention. That is a classic guard move defensively that I absolutely hated when I was opposed. Coming down thinking I had the good cut, a good run, and the guard steps in, and it's the worst.
I can see the PTSD
I
in your
literally
eyes.
am feeling it right now. That's the one right there.
Nebraska's capitalized off some turnovers today. They had 14 points off turnovers. Up 12. 2:18 to go in the third quarter. And they've gotten it done with different faces today. Mistley ran into a corner. Markowski, Shelley, contested. Battle for the board. Who can find it? And looks like it's going to go back to Texas A&M in this physical game. Eventually in a Sweet 16 game. But right now, business to be taken care of. Business to be taken care of on Sunday if you can get there.
Watch out for Ole Miss. Remember Coach Yo and Ole Miss made a run last season.
Yep, knocked off Stanford, upset Stanford in Palo Alto. There's a three there from Coulibaly. And look out, it's a single-digit game.
Yeah.
Oh, she got another steal. Coulibaly on a heater right now. Aisha Coulibaly couldn't quite finish. It looks like she lost her balance almost underneath the rim. It's Hilton, though. Well short on the three. 8-0 Texas A&M run. Nearly got within 7 there.
So Coulibaly, after that play, does the shirt tug. The shirt tug means that she needed to come out, so she's on the bench right now. But let me tell you something. She has carried the momentum that she has given for the Aggies, so invaluable right now in game. So she's going to get a quick breather, and I bet she's going to come right back in.
Carried is the right word in this third quarter for what Coulibaly has helped do to this Aggie team to get them right back into it and within single digits on an 8-0 run. Jazz Shelley, the kind of player that can settle things down for you. This will stay on this end, tapped away. And Joni Taylor clapping on the Texas A&M sideline. Knows her team is on to something right now. So they can keep this momentum going into the fourth quarter. A long lob picked off. Aggies read that all the way on the intentions for Markowski.
And MJ got caught on that screen, so that's great help by Hilton being there. Like you said, read it well.
Hilton, another player, really gifted. They call her supremely gifted on the defensive end. Toronto, Ontario native, searching. Jones backs it out. Markowski matched up against her. 5 to shoot. Barker against Kroll. Oh, and out of hot, but the ball took. It's going to be a shot clock violation, though. Joni Taylor, who you just saw in that shot, so proud of what her Texas A&M team has overcome this season, having to overcome another hurdle today with no Lauren Ware in the lineup. Was nursing an injury. It was a game-time decision. Couldn't go. Ware, a player for seeing Texas A&M for the first time. She averages 9 points per game, about 7 boards per game. Without her presence, but still battling. And within 9, shot clock off for Darian White and Nebraska. 6 seconds to operate. Foul called. Nebraska is in the bonus. And they got Tanea Hilton there. Kendall Coley checks in. Really good defender. Possibly Asia wanting to bring in her length for what is still going to be about 6 seconds left for Texas A&M.
Absolutely tremendous length there with Coley, and then even I do have to say with White, just kind of finding her groove again since she's been injured, hasn't really had a lot of rhythm, but she looks so good, so shifty, so crafty.
Time here, Green, heave. Texas A&M will go into the fourth, down 10. Nebraska trying to get to Sunday.
Freshman coming ready to play.
In her first NCAA tournament game has looked unfazed. So you see Markowski also starting to step up as well for Nebraska. Aisha Coulibaly has been the offense for Texas A&M in this second half. Charged them on a run that got them back within single digits. She's on the floor, 5 in black. Here's KK Green, quick pull up. But look who it is on the doorstep, Coulibaly. Second chance, more points for her.
Yeah, Coulibaly is looking to take over. And we know what she can do. We talked about it earlier. She had 32 against South Carolina despite the loss. She just shows her prowess and what she's able to do on both ends of the floor.
We had a chance to talk to Coulibaly yesterday. Played her first 3 years at Auburn. Potts couldn't finish. Jones secures the rebound. Joni Taylor asks Aisha Coulibaly, if you come here, are you willing to change your style of play and potentially score less points for us to win? And she said, yes, I just want to be in the NCAA tournament. I want to be on this stage. I want to win for this Texas A&M team, which has got her team within 8. Almost solely on her offensive play alone. Barker, a little strong. Nisley the rebound, and she's fouled by Jones. Zahara Jones will check out. Soleil Williams will check in for Texas A&M, so a little smaller. Shelley lofts it down low and a turnover. Connection wasn't quite there with Potts, a connection that has been there all season long.
Now, can the Aggies capitalize on the offensive end is the question. It is going to be a grind. They're going to have to grind it out to finish, especially when you talk about the way the shooting has been in this game. But in order to do that, again, we said it, can't trade 2s for 3s, and they got to capitalize when they get stops when you get on the offensive end.
You're right, Asia. The door is open here. Barker had a good look. Coulibaly got called for the foul on the rebound. It was a good look. Coulibaly maybe thought she was pushed. Up to your discretion.
I'll take it. Sometimes you gotta, it's always worth a try to get the refs to try to talk the refs into a call, but got a good officiating crew here, unfazed.
Yep, 2 great crews on hand for this one. Potts, her 3-point try falls right into the hands of Nisley, who's been anywhere and everywhere today, and goes down low to Markowski, who's going to go to the free throw line. Just the persistence and effort. Amy Williams trying to lock down what would be her first NCAA tournament win as head coach of Nebraska on her birthday, if they can get it. She told us that she went for a birthday walk with her husband, and by the time they got down to the first floor of the hotel, they saw some of the Nebraska players in the conference room. This is in the morning, already drawing up potential questions for shoot-around about defensive coverages and plays they wanted to dissect. 2 teams locked in on the journey to get back to the big dance this year after not making it last year. 10 points separating Nebraska and Texas A&M. Foul called on Jazz Shelley. Just her first.
And she got the foul call there. You see that mismatch with Coulibaly and Shelley. So they got to get it. I'm getting into Coulibaly all day. Things getting a little chippy.
A little disagreement between Barker and Potts. Disagreements over defensive positioning. Happens every now and then. Down low, that's been happening a lot. Coulibaly scoring.
Every time. And we talked about the beauty of her game, the mismatches that she exposes, whether she's playing on the perimeter or in the paint. So Coulibaly, the person to go to right now for the Aggies.
Leads back down to 8 with just under 8 to go. Maddie Kroll is going to check in for Nebraska here. 2 former Big 12 foes back in the day. These schools met every year from 1996 to 2010 before they made their respective departures. Nebraska to the Big 10, Texas A&M to the SEC. Now locking horns again over a decade after those conference changes. What a quick drive from White. She can turn on the Jets in a hurry.
Yeah, White, the foot speed is just so hard to match with. Puts so much pressure on one-on-one defense, able to draw the contact. I mean, that is just exactly what she does.
Nebraska will shoot free throws the rest of the way. Still got 7:34 to go in this fourth quarter. In the bonus, what's been a physical game. Oh, for the 4th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Going to see a lot of potentially future WNBA talent throughout the course the next few weeks as well. We'll have the WNBA draft for you on ESPN on April 15th. Right now, 10 points separating Nebraska and Texas A&M. After those free throws, nearly a giveaway. Green able to save it. 10 on the shot clock. Koulibaly's been red hot. Another 3 it is as well. Back to a 7-point game.
Koulibaly has carried this team. We got to see her spot chart on the floor. They've been able to score inside and out, but it's literally been Koulibaly herself getting touches in the paint, scoring from outside.
They double Kroll. Oh, reverse opportunity for White that doesn't turn into 2. You mentioned it. Doors open for Texas A&M if they can capitalize. India Rogers is coming to the scores table, one of their best scorers all season. Koulibaly's been their best scorer in this game. To MJ Johnson, cashes in, all net, 5-point game.
And MJ Johnson, I feel like we haven't given her enough credit. What she's been able to do off the bench, specifically guarding Markowski. We haven't seen her. She's not a go-to player offensively, but that's her job right there, to make Markowski's life miserable, but to be able to step up and hit a shot.
Wow, they made that shot very tough for Alexis Markowski, but she hit it anyway. This is what you love about March. The ups and downs can never count a team out within a game. Texas A&M did not go anywhere when they went down double digits. Barker, step back. Oh, it was online. Another 3 for Texas A&M. 4-point game. Closest they've been since going down double digits.
Outside shots are contagious right now for the Aggies. Everybody looking to connect and get a piece from beyond the arc.
And an Aggie team that doesn't make a ton of threes. Shelley, nice one-legged fade. Crafty from the Aussie. This is going to be a fun finish here in Corvallis. Both of these teams wanting to play Oregon State on Sunday in the second round. A lot of work to do, though, over the final 5 minutes to get to that point. Green opts to drive. That's what you wanted to see them do more of. Green went down, immediately grabbing her leg, though. And in pain on the baseline.
It was a tough take, an awkward plan, a very tough shot. Have another look at it. Couldn't see her coming down on the angle there, but have another look at it. Definitely on the landing here. Yeah, landed right there awkwardly on the leg. Lots of force. She's grabbing her lower leg, getting looked at.
Immediately grabbed the leg and in pain. Staff out tending to her. Good to see her putting weight on that leg and walking off to the sideline.
Have another look at it. Just aggressive on the attack here and comes down awkwardly on the foot, holding her lower leg. So she's going to go back. She goes back into her training room to get looked at. India Rogers now back in the lineup for KK Green.
India Rogers, who returned in the SEC tournament from her injury and still working her way back to getting the full speed. Didn't start today, but on the floor now in a crucial role. MJ Johnson guarding Markowski. That'll be a key matchup down the stretch. Markowski, she can hit those. Flared out. Barker the board. Now opposite way, Coulibaly, such a threat in transition. 2-point game.
It has been a tremendous fourth quarter for both teams, but the Aggies specifically, because of Coulibaly and what she's been able to do, she has absolutely changed the momentum offensively for the Aggies.
Nebraska calls a timeout. This is getting tight. These are the moments we love in March. 2-point game with 4:17 to go in the fourth.
Big. You give her too much space, she can hit it from beyond the arc. She is the X factor right now for the Aggies in the second half.
We talked to her yesterday, and she had a motivated look in her eye. You see, largest comebacks in NCAA tournament history. Texas A&M has it back in 2017. They came back from down 21 to beat Penn. They trailed by as much as 17 points today against Nebraska. A lead for the Cornhuskers that has dwindled down to 2. And on this upcoming possession, Texas A&M with a chance to tie or take the lead.
And remember, the Cornhuskers, they blew the lead in the championship game against Iowa, so I know they're going to have to really lock in, close the game out if they want to get the win.
They find themselves in a very similar spot, trying to close out. Near steal there from Nisley. What are the keys? You've played in these tournaments, in these moments, with the pressure that could be associated with it, to stay poised.
That's it right there. You stay poised, you got to execute, and more importantly, you have to push through that wall. I know bodies are tired, the time change, but which team is going to push through that wall?
That shot went around about halfway down and out for Texas A&M fans. 3:30 to go in this first round game. 6 seed Nebraska, 11 seed Texas A&M. Nebraska had a 17-point lead that's poked away from behind. Nice defensive play there from Williams. It's going to stay at this end.
Great on-ball defense here by Williams, poking it from behind. And we talked about it. White is not an easy person to guard, but that's just a great defensive stop right there. She got in front of her a little bit, so Williams able to just get the poke from behind.
It's turned out to be one of the best games of the day. A throwaway. Nebraska's had a few too many of those as well throughout the course of this Texas A&M comeback.
This is a huge offensive possession for the Aggies. Able to put them in a position where they can tie the game, they can get the lead if they were to get a 3.
You can feel the nerves from both fan bases right now. We've had just one tie in the game. MJ Johnson underneath the rim, couldn't quite get the angle she wanted. White calling for it, a player with a ton of experience, the grad student. They go down low to Markowski, their bread and butter. Couldn't finish, Potts there, blocked. Barker got a piece of that. Here's Barker offensively, pull up for the tie. Rebound tipped by Markowski into the hands of White.
And Joni looked at Aisha Coulibaly and said, come get the ball, take over. That's exactly what they got to do. She's the player they need to get the ball to on the offensive end.
All 23 of Coulibaly's points in the second half. Oh, Rogers went for a steal, couldn't get it. White nearly had it ripped away by Coulibaly. Got it back, 8 on the shot clock. It's Potts in the corner. Good look, didn't drop. A&M still within 2.
The Aggies are working defensively, but they've got to be able to connect right here on the offensive end.
Who can step up on the biggest of stages? Near turnover there. Now they can breathe a bit. Still 10 on the shot clock. Rogers floating, fouled. Free throws coming up for India Rogers.
I'll take it. Not settling for an outside shot, being aggressive on the tack, drawing the contact. India Rogers, a veteran player. We know she sat out a little bit, but this is a player, she transferred from Oregon, high IQ, changes the pace of the game.
It was the 4th on Potts for a Texas A&M team that only shoots 67% as a team from the line. India Rogers is one of their best. She shoots 86% from the free throw line individually. This is who you want at the line down the stretch in an NCAA tournament game, and she goes a big 2 for 2 to tie the game at 56. Texas A&M has stormed back from down 17 to knot us up at 56 apiece with 1:38 to go. What a game this has been. Now, if you're in these huddles in this moment, Asia, walk me through both sidelines.
Well, the Cornhuskers, they've had a few turnovers, not able to connect on shots. So they just got to stay poised, run their offense, execute their offense, and I think it starts with getting the ball into Markowski, finding ways into the paint. I think White's been very good on her attack as well, just continuing to be aggressive on their attack, get into the paint, find shooters fanning out, but more importantly, that's where you got to go. And the Aggies, they're going to have to defend, they're going to have to be disciplined, not foul. That's going to be key for A&M on a defensive end.
Very true on all of those points. At Nebraska, you look at the Cornhuskers right now, a scoring drought of nearly 4 minutes. During that time, Texas A&M has gone on a 6-0 run to tie this game.
In those possessions as well, the Cornhuskers, they look very, very sped up, causing turnovers.
See the second half numbers favoring Texas A&M. Aggies in search of their first NCAA tournament win since 2021. Nebraska wants their first since 2014. And as you noted, a little deja vu for Nebraska. They were played in a very tight Big Ten tournament game in the title against Iowa that they fell short in overtime after having a lead. And now down the stretch they go with a 1:25 left in a tie game. Jazz Shelley turning the corner. 10 on the shot clock for Nebraska in the midst of a scoring drought. Calvin Hake back to Shelley. Long into the hands of Rogers, and A&M with a chance to take the lead. With 1 minute to go, offensive foul called. Hake took the charge.
Coach Joni perplexed at the call, and we'll see. Have another look at it here. I mean, it looks clean, like a charge to me. It's a great call.
I'd agree. What are you looking for out of this Nebraska possession here?
They just got to be poised, get a shot in. This is a Nebraska team that's played in situations pretty much the entire Big Ten tournament, but especially coming in that championship game against Iowa. Will they be able to close out? That's the player right there. Yep, got to get it to Markowski.
Markowski puts Nebraska up 2. 35 seconds to go.
You got to attack Potts. Potts got 4 fouls.
Barker doubled on the baseline. Back out to Rogers. 22 seconds left. Rogers will take it for the lead. Off the mark, following up is Coulibaly. Count that, and she was fouled with a chance to go to the line and give Texas A&M the lead.
Coulibaly, the absolute X factor. Miss here from Rogers. You don't give up on the play. The tip-in. the contact, able to connect. It is Coulibaly who has been unstoppable, giving the Aggies the lead.
This game has had everything in it, and now an incredible shot.
We're going to the monitor to put the correct time back on the clock.
As they're going to the monitor to check the time and hopefully put the correct time back on the clock here, we have 16.7 left in the fourth quarter of what is now a tie game between Texas A&M and Nebraska. A rejuvenated second half for the Aggie faithful, coming back from down 17.
The correct time on the clock is 17.7.
So you add a little bit of time, 17.7 to go in this fourth quarter, 58-58. But Coulibaly will go to the line with all 25 of her points coming in the second half. She's 1 of 1 at the line today, 74% on the season.
Big test for Coulibaly. Free throws huge down the stretch in game situations like this.
Biggest free throw she's ever taken in the Texas A&M uniform right here. And she hits it. Gives Texas A&M their first lead since they were up 11-10 in the first quarter. The rare free throw replay here, and you need it. 2 bounces off the iron and down.
Listen, I'll take it.
Probably hung up there.
It's dropping, it's dropping.
Hung up there a while if you're an Aggie fan.
But here now on the other end, the ball, better believe that thing is going into number 40 in white, Markowski.
That's where they went the last time Nebraska scored.
I mean, they need the best shot possible. They're only down 1. They can get it to you. Don't need the 3-point basket. They can get up 1 just from a simple shot at the rim. And Markowski, that's the player to do it.
And advancing it here into the front court, Shelley. Their veteran guard. Did they get a foul away from the ball? Looks like they did on KK Green. So foul called on KK Green, and now bonus free throws coming up for Nebraska.
Yeah, you have a look at KK Green. I mean, just grabbing her the entire possession off the ball.
Logan Nistley will be the free throw shooter for Nebraska. 80% on the season. She was such a pivotal part of their offense in the opening half, as 14 points on the day. In her first NCAA tournament game, as cool as can be at the free throw line to tie it. And gives Nebraska the lead back on the second free throw. With 14.6 left on the fourth quarter clock.
So now the Aggies, they want the best shot possible, but they don't need the 3. Try and get the 2, try to get to the free throw line, try to create off the bounce. That is number 5. That is Coulibaly. She's going to do that. I think they're going to look to get her the ball. Lots of options there scoring as far as players that really have prowess attacking downhill, but Coulibaly has just been unstoppable.
At this moment, if you're Coulibaly, you're almost calling for it in that huddle.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell, you can see it on her face. She's ready. This is her moment. She's playing with the utmost absolute confidence.
By the way, Nebraska still has a foul to give, so keep an eye on if they opt to use that. A&M with the timeout, able to advance the ball.
And Potts has 4 fouls, so she's the player that does not want to get that foul.
And she's guarding Coulibaly right now. They go out to Rogers.
And she got to get it to her.
Rogers with 10 seconds left. Down 1 to Barker with 5 seconds into the paint. No call. No call. And then it looked like Nebraska got the timeout. 2.6 left on the fourth quarter clock. It is a timeout called. Your judgment, was there a foul?
Have another look at it here from this angle.
Looks like feet got tangled up, perhaps.
Got tangled up.
But no foul called. It went right into the hands there of Jazz Shelley.
Yeah, Barker just going in off balance, but I don't think there was any contact to the extreme of a foul call. But I just think in that possession, you have that. Coulibaly has to have the ball.
The game clock has been adjusted to 3.1.
So 3.1 now on the game clock, up from the 2.6 you're seeing right now on your screen. It'll be Nebraska ball. And you'd have to think a very, very quick foul.
Yeah, very quick foul. First, maybe try and get a violation, but if not, you have to foul. Send him to the free throw line.
Inbounding is Nisley, got it in to Jazz Shelley, and a foul with 1.7 left on the clock. Jazz Shelley is who they wanted to get the ball to because she's an 88% free throw shooter. Maddie Kroll would check in for the Huskers. Amy Williams told us earlier today when the conversation started with Jazz Shelley in the offseason about wanting to come back, it was because there was unfinished business. They wanted to get to this stage. It couldn't be more fitting that it's Jazz Shelley at the free throw line here trying to ice it for Nebraska. They wanted to be back on this stage so much after not making it a year ago.
Readjust the clock.
They're going to readjust the clock again here.
The game clock will be adjusted to 2.2.
So 2.2 instead of 1.7. Nebraska in search of their first NCAA tournament win since 2014. It's been a decade. It would be Amy Williams' first as Nebraska head coach, and possibly on her birthday. Celebrating that today. Still 2.2 seconds left before they can celebrate a first-round victory. And crucial free throws here. First one is down for Jazz Shelley. Around and off on the second. Very quick timeout from Joni Taylor, and still 1.4 to go.
They have the chance to advance the ball. That's plenty of time to get a shot up.
Plenty of time, as you mentioned, and advancing it with the timeout will put them in the front court. So on that note, what are you trying to draw up here to potentially tie or win it?
And they're only down 2 as well, so they don't need the 3. I'm trying to get a 2. I'm trying to get it in there. Coulibaly, the person to go to. They got Barker in there as well. (61-59). Nebraska up, but 1.4 to go, and Texas A&M will be able to advance this ball with the timeout called. As the officials go to replay here once again to make sure the clock is correct. 1.4 would be enough to get a shot up, but could there be more time potentially added on here for Texas A&M, a team that trailed by 17 in this game, came back to at one point take a 1-point lead in the final minute and a half. Resilience personified for Joni Taylor's team that has had to overcome so many injury hurdles this season. Had to overcome another today. The game clock will be
adjusted to 1.7.
So 1.7, add more time for a shot release. So Sahara Jones will inbound. 1.7. It's Rogers for the win! Off the mark, and Nebraska survives the comeback bid from Texas A&M. Big Red is back in the big dance, and they'll march on to the second round to meet Oregon State on Sunday. What a game that had absolutely everything tonight.
Aggies put their all into it, just was not able to connect here on this shot with India Rogers, but this is March basketball. This was so excited. Late night here in Corvallis, and we were just in for an absolute treat. Both matchups, but Nebraska coming out on top, so they're going to take on Oregon State in this next round.